American Ballet Theatre Studio Company presented its Winter Festival in February on YouTube with great dancing from the young dancers. One segment was the La Corsaire suite with the popular pas de deux and solos. The solos were exciting, filled with great dynamic depth and technical prowess, demonstrating the dancers' solid training and maturity. It won't be long before the dancers in the festival will be a foundation of ABT and seen on the big stage at the Metropolitan Opera House. The studio company is affiliated with ABT and serves as a feeder into the main troupe, with nearly 80% of the 2020 dancers advancing through the studio company. Check out my commentary on La Corsaire solos with the entire segment in the second half of this video. One piece in the Winter Festival, filmed at the Kaatsbaan Cultural Park in Tivoli, New York in the fall of 2020, was the Act 2 pas de deux from La Corsaire, with 4 dancers taking on the Medora alley roles. La Corsaire is a popular pas-de-pas classic, and the pas de deux and solos are a standard in ballet festivals and galas worldwide. Studio company artistic director and former ABT soloist Sascha Radetsky staged the work.
A suite from Le Corsaire builds on this theme of ballet training, evolving the vocabulary of the class concert into a showcase of bravura technique.
Katomi Yamoda danced Medora's first solo. She competed in the prestigious Lausanne Ballet Competition in 2020. Katomi led off the solos with the highlight, a diagonal consisting of a piqué turn, double piqué turn, to a single fouetté, and a double fouetté turn, done with great authority. Note how she spots her head on the diagonal on her piqué turns, but then changes her spot to en face, front, on her fouetté turns. Her piqué turns have solid placement, with her foot to her knee. Katomi shows solid control and is able to boldly move out with command and travel the entire diagonal. When I was dancing, my dance teacher would say, "It's your diagonal, use all of it," advice that Katomi certainly followed. Jake Roxander is next for the first Ali solo. Jake studied with his parents at their school in Oregon and danced at Pennsylvania Ballet 2 from 2019 to 2020. He won awards at several Youth America Grand Prix competitions. Jake's solo shows great dynamism, and his strength is his turns. His first turn section is turns in second position, turning into 5 smooth pirouettes. Noteworthy is how he delays getting to retiré position, which is foot to the knee, until his third turn. More on this in his grand turn sequence later. The second is 6 pirouettes. His arms are very wide and narrow and go overhead on his last 2 turns, with his foot at the back of his knee in retiré to a balance in attitude with great control. Elizabeth Beyer is next. She trained at Ellison Ballet, and I have a number of photos of her on my Not My Day Job photography website from Ellison winter and spring performances dating back to 2016. Elizabeth excelled at ballet competitions, winning the prestigious Moscow International Ballet Competition, Youth America Grand Prix, and the USA International Ballet Competition in Jackson, Mississippi. This is the iconic Medora's second solo. It has 2 tricky turn segments that require subtle weight changes as the dancer navigates between en dedans and en dehors pirouettes. An en dedans turn is a turn toward the supporting leg. If the right leg is supporting, the turn is clockwise, while an en dehors pirouette turns away from the supporting leg. Her diagonal starts with a pas de cheval, followed by a pas de bourrée entournant en dedans. A pas de cheval is called a horse's step because it resembles a horse pawing the ground. A pas de bourrée is a series of linking steps consisting of 3 small steps. The turn gives her momentum into her next step, a tour dégagé en dehors, opening to the front. On the tour dégagé, her left leg sweeps in front and is the supporting leg on her turn away from her left leg. Elizabeth does another turning pas de bourrée, stepping into a pirouette en dedans, turning toward her front leg, to an arabesque into another pas de bourrée. She then repeats the sequence. Chaîné turns follow, which are small half-turns to a very solid triple pirouette en dedans. Note her rigid and upright body line straight as a board. This segment requires great control as the dancer progresses through the sequence. There are many opportunities to go off kilter, so the dancer must maintain steady balance as she goes from one foot to another. Later in the solo, Elizabeth does a turn section downstage, en face, or to the front. She starts out with a double turn in second position, leg to the side, en dedans. Most professional dancers do a single turn, so the double is a testament to her technical prowess. then another pas de bourrée entournant en dedans to a triple or double pirouette en dehors from 5th position. A pirouette from 5th position is more difficult than the customary 4th position because the supporting takeoff is from a narrower base. Her third pirouette en dedans in 2nd is particularly on the mark. This is a great example of the Medora second solo, one of the best that I have seen on YouTube, showing great maturity, right up there with another stellar example from Jurgita Dranina of the Dutch National Ballet. Next is Elwynce Magmatang. Elwynce from the Philippines has danced on the big stage at the Metropolitan Opera House as a gnome in Alexei Ratmansky's The Seasons in 2019. Elwynce starts his solo with great energy with a cabriole devant en tournant, or a turning cabriole to the front, a step commonly seen in the Paquita male solo. He then flashes some razzle-dazzle with a side jeté saut de basque, which is a variant of the standard saut de basque, a turning step from one foot to the other. Next are well-done tour de ronds, or more informally, barrel turns. Note his great lean and slant in the air, achieved by his back bend, and his aggressive action with his front leg. Barrel turns are a fan favorite when done well, frequently generating applause. Elwynce finishes up with chaîné turns to a double tour to the knee. Elizabeth enters for her fouetté turns. Elizabeth flashes more strong technique in this iconic step, also seen in Swan Lake and Don Quixote, which, for better or worse, many use as a measure of the quality of a female dancer. After confidently starting with a triple pirouette, Elizabeth does single turns mixed with doubles, similar to what leading dancers are doing these days. Note how her right arm swings aggressively in unison with her right leg. Also, her solid and consistent carriage of her arms as they hit the same position to the side in front as her turns progress. Hip and shoulder alignment are also important, with a rigid upper body necessary when completing multiple turns. Less proficient dancers have a disjointed alignment of the upper body, leading to unsustainable and sloppy turns. Jake enters for his turns. Jake's turn in second position are funky, with a delayed placement in retiré position, foot to the knee, rather than the traditional method of immediately going to the knee. I see more dancers employing this style, such as Daniil Simkin and Ivan Vasiliev, and other dancers on Instagram. Jake's style seems more pronounced in his delay than the others, making his turns distinctive. He starts with a double pirouette in second position and, without coming down from releve, slowly goes to retiré with 4 more turns. Generally, his foot does not touch his knee until his last pirouette. He continues with his turns, turning into 4 pirouettes. He ends with 5 smooth pirouettes as his arms go overhead. By contrast, here is Mikhail Baryshnikov in the 1977 ABT Nutcracker with a traditional turns in second position sequence. Note how he does not delay, but immediately goes to retiré position. I think that the delayed retiré technique is more difficult to control, with more room for error relative to the traditional approach. Great dancing from these young dancers. Take a look at all of the solo variations, and thanks for tuning in.